if you've had supraspinatus or rotator cuff tear, that tendon has torn, or you've had that tendon cut in rotator cuff surgery, this is the practice that you want to do that will restore pain-free, full range of motion in your shoulder. Coming up. Having a rotator cuff tear or injury can leave you with a significant loss of range of motion and often obviously causes a lot of pain. So there can be difficulty lifting the arm in various directions and then a lot of pain even when you're at rest. The most common cause of rotator cuff injury, when we say rotator cuff injury, is caused by the supraspinatus, that tendon getting torn, or there being a bursitis pushing on that tendon. So supraspinatus is the most common cause, and that's the tendon that they cut in rotator cuff surgery. There's actually a really simple fix that can get you out of pain and restore full range of motion really quickly, often when you've had either the surgery or have a tear in that supraspinatus tendon. So when there's a tear and that muscle can't work properly, or if you've had that tendon cut and that muscle can't work properly, you're going to need to engage other muscles to take over the action of your supraspinatus muscle. One of my teachers, Dr. Lauren Fishman, who's also a yogi, works with another one of my dear teachers, Ellen Saltonstall, in New York City. And in Dr. Fishman's own rotator cuff healing, he discovered that doing this practice, triangular forearm support or headstand preparation, has produced immediate and lasting results for about 90% of the people that he has done this work with, hundreds and hundreds of folks in his clinic. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it well and properly. And I want you to understand that if you have shoulder impingement syndrome, this is not the practice for you. Please don't do this if you have shoulder impingement. If you have a torn supraspinatus, rotator cuff tear or injury, or have had the surgery where they have cut that tendon, this is the practice that often within a minute or two, you can restore full function of your shoulder pain-free by engaging other muscles to take over the job of the supraspinatus. So here's how you're going to do it. To do this properly, if you can't bring your forearms down to the floor to do traditional headstand preparation or forearm support, you can use a sturdy chair. So I'm going to demonstrate in this chair. So you'll want like a chair with a kind of flat, sturdy bottom that you can put some weight on. And then you're going to interlace your fingers, but you'll notice that, the one finger gets kind of crushed at the bottom. So you're just going to take that bottom pinky finger and tuck it in front of the other. That'll just make it more comfortable for you. It's not a requirement to do this properly, but just makes it a little more comfortable if you take that bottom finger out and tuck it in. So now let's do this forearm support, triangular forearm support, or like a headstand preparation. You don't have to put your head on the chair or on the floor to do this well. And as a matter of fact, we're going to keep the head lifted up. We're going to interlace those fingers, fold that bottom finger under so it's not getting crushed, and then with the feet about hip distance apart, bend the knees a little and tilt the pelvis, reach it back. Notice that we want to not have this rounding in the low back. So we're going to tilt that pelvis back and then placing your head toward between your hands and then pushing back into the chair. So the forearms push into the chair and you'll feel the muscles around your armpit activating in that movement. And then you just push. You could walk in a little closer, keep the head and neck soft, and keep pushing in. And as you could play with lifting one leg up, that's kind of fun, and it puts a little bit more weight into those forearms. But the idea is that you stay here with the forearms pressing into the base of the chair for about a minute. And so I'm just going to take a few more breaths here. We've already been here probably half a minute or so.
head relaxed, tilting the pelvis back, pressing in. I like to add in the little splits, so I'm going to reach that leg back. I'm going to reach that leg back. I'm still pushing my forearms into the chair. Push, push, push. And we're going to take one more breath here. Then you're going to step forward toward the chair, and you can either come to standing or come to sit back on your chair, and then do a little bit of range of motion. See how that has affected the movement around your shoulder, and you should have pain-free range of motion restored. Now, what you've done is activate that subscapularis, activate other muscles to take over the job of supraspinatus. You should have full range of motion in that shoulder now. How many times do you have to do this exercise? Well, Dr. Fishman says really only once. If it's going to be successful, it's going to happen. You only have to do it one time, and you only have to hold for a minute, maybe 2 minutes maximum, but should be plenty, should be all fixed, and you should be all set to go.